'82. I started the radio show in '82. I started the broadcast training for about 2 years. Started the radio, had my show, and I kept the show until 90. Yeah, from 82 to 90, right around, well, my first wife had died. And when she died, I let Bill kind of man the ship, you know, for about, say, 4 or 5 months, you know. And then after that, at that point, I felt I got everything out of radio I could have gotten anyway, you know what I mean? Because I really got into it as a way to break into the industry. I just happened to love being on the air, you know, so it turned into fun, and it turned, you know, and I enjoyed it. You know, we had a great show. You know, I would bring all the artists on, and I felt like it was able to contribute to the music, you know what I mean? So just being an additional voice, you know, I didn't realize what it was when I first started. I'm just looking at it as a tool to get into the industry. And then after I got in, it's like, you know, I got kind of consumed with it. I loved it. So then we started doing concerts, you know, Get Busy series and bringing artists and stuff, and just, you know, really just moving the music agenda forward. And, but I felt like I had now, you know, now I know all the labels, of course. Now, you know, the artists I'm in, and the, you know, records I'm making. And it's like, what else was, you know, the radio program for me to do, except it was limiting me, because back then, a lot of people didn't have the technology where you recorded your show all the time when you're traveling. So all the traveling, you know, from artists and running the label, I was always limited. You know, I could record maybe 2 shows or something, but they really didn't want us, you know, fronting like we did when we really wasn't. And I was on, at that point, Monday through Friday. So it was more like a, you know. Yeah, I had, depending on the season, there were seasons when I had this, you know, Saturday, seasons when I had Friday night and Saturday. Seasons, you know, once I started really expanding and the show started taking off, we'd be on Monday through Friday, you know what I mean? So it started becoming a lot, you know what I mean? A lot to do. So for me, it was time to just let it go anyway. So I kind of turned it over to Bill on the bootleg side, because technically they didn't know who Bill was. You know, I kind of blew Bill up as a personality, but they was like, who's this guy sitting in the room, you know? And I told Bill I would talk to them to see if he really wanted to keep it on. But at that point, Bill was like, nah, I'm not gonna try to do it. So it just kind of, we gave the slide up. What happened is, I probably, in 80, my wife died in 89. I got saved in 88. Wasn't going to church, didn't go to church for the first time until I was 24. I never saw the inside of a church. And then my wife kept asking me to go, so I went probably 2 times when I was 24, probably 2 times when I was 26, and by 27, I probably went about 4 or 5 times. And then so right around 88 is when I had got saved, and then she ended up dying in 89, and I had a 3 and a 5-year-old daughter, Kimberly and Shamika. And so what I didn't want to do is raise my kids in Brooklyn. That I knew, you know, even though we were in a nicer part, we were no longer in the, you know, the raw part of Brooklyn. I just, you know, just didn't want to do that. So we moved. So I just bought a home in what's called Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And once I did that, I was distant from the industry. I couldn't go to the parties in the same way. It was more, you know, it's just 2-hour drive, hour and a half drive. So, you know, people would call and invite me to stuff, but it's like, you know, I ain't trying to find a babysitter, and, you know, because I raised my kids. And I found the church home in 92. Found the church, probably just got really, really involved in the church. It's just helping out and serving, and, you know, just really starting to now spiritually evolve, and the spiritual evolution eventually led to being called in ministry in 94. You know, and once I got called in ministry in 94, and then I started getting trained and being taught, you know, how and what ministry is, then in 2005 is when the Lord had called me to pastor. And that's when I started moving forward, and now our church, Kingdom Covenant Christian Center, is thriving. It's exciting. You know, I'm on a national broadcast is in 200 countries. It's called the Word Network. So every Monday morning at 3 a.m. On the East Coast, 12 midnight on the West Coast, 8 a.m. in the UK, that type stuff. You know, the ministry is touching folk, you know, and it's changing lives. And I'm getting, you know, the same way I used to enjoy impacting the crowd by switching records and switching gears. And, you know, now I totally kind of forgot what that felt like. You know what I mean? This conversation with you is like one of the times I get to remember that I even had that season, because it's almost like it never happened. You know what I mean? And now I get to impact people's lives with the Word of God. So it's real powerful. You know, it's YouTube, you know, stuff that from my ministry that's on YouTube. You know, and all the cats who've seen it from hip hop stuff, you know, they hit me up and they real excited. You know, they're like, man, it's, you know, because it's real authentic. You know what I mean? It's authentic and it's pure. Just like back when I was doing the hip hop, it was authentic and pure. So. They can go to our website, Kingdom C as in Charlie, ccc.org, kingdomccc.org for Kingdom Covenant Christian Center. Or they could just type in Pastor Vandy Coulter, and it'll come up in the whole Google thing. They can Facebook and Twitter me, that type of stuff. They can certainly look at it on the Word Network, even the Word Network online. You know, if you don't have the Word Network on your cable provider, the wordnetwork.org, is it? Or .com? Wordnetwork.com, I think. They actually keep all the broadcasts that air up to 10 days, so people can actually watch each broadcast every week that way, which is really cool, through their DVR online, you know. And you know, and we're just real excited about how that thing is working out. So yeah, they should get with us. I have the master for Vita Viper. I have the master for, because the one thing, because I was a business person, I would always make sure I negotiated stuff that a lot of guys didn't, you know. So I negotiated like A-side protection in all my stuff. So that means if you put my record on the B-side, I still got paid like it was A-side. So I always had a business perspective on the industry. I knew it was a business the minute I started doing the business of it. You know, before then it was just a pastime, the game, it's whatever we did. But once we got into business, you know, my business mindset clicked. So one or two individuals was talking at one point, maybe a seminar or something about having your masters, you know. So I would make sure, you know, I kept my masters. The only ones I couldn't keep was the majors. All the independents, I kept my masters, you know. But the majors, you know, you're not keeping your masters with them. Yeah, man, I don't even know what giving you a bunch of records that I found. I found this old trophy. I told you I'm a pack rat. So this right here says Latin Quarter, Most Outstanding College Radio DJ 86. Don't tell me I ain't no pack rat. This is 1986. So this right here was this was a recognition, and it's like an achievement award, I think. It meant a lot to me back then because, like I said, I did go to broadcast school for training. So since I went to broadcast school for training, to be recognized as a broadcaster was as big to me as somebody recognizing me for DJing. You know what I mean? If somebody was, you know, like, yo, I was at this party and I seen you spinning, you know, that meant a lot. But then when you take the time to actually get trained at something, you know, and then you get recognized for broadcasting, I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, so I guess that's probably why I started somewhere, and because I ain't keep much other than that button and all them records. So, man. If I was to give a young person advice, it's really rooted in of course being true to yourself, you know, that whole dynamic. But there's a unfortunate part of the whole game where when you have the passion that it takes to do this, a lot of times the discipline for preparation, it does not follow the discipline for creativity. So a lot of times people will get opportunities that they're just not prepared for, you know. So I would tell any young person who's really serious about, you know, getting into anything like the music industry is to do your homework, to be prepared, not just to be creative. Because a lot of times we'll put 100% into creativity, but not enough into empowering ourselves with knowledge and becoming real students of the industry, the business. You know, and I tell you like this, when I was producing, you know, I was nowhere near as popular as a lot of guys who was, you know, really blown up, D Nice, all these other guys who were really booming. And there were plenty of times that because I understood the business, I would negotiate stronger upfront fees and projects than guys who had much more accomplishments, and the labels would just tell me, don't tell them, because, you know, they ain't even getting the A-side protection. They not even getting they ain't even knowing in some cases to ask for these things, you know, and because I had, you know, so I would get $6,000, $7,000 up front, and I'm sitting there and talking to cats whose records are still on the radio and mine wasn't, and they telling me, yeah, man, the label gave me 25 or they gave me 3, and I'm sitting there like, you know, I'm not foolish enough to tell you what they gave me, so you can go in there and throw me under the bus and I'll never get it again, you know. But I realized that it was only because I had took the time to empower myself with knowledge, and it allowed me to make money in areas well after that did or did not continue. You know what I'm saying? So I would say really, you know, keep your passion, you know, be true to yourself, but don't let your creativity run, you know, so great that you don't empower yourself with knowledge and you don't become a student, because it is a business.
Bam.